What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's video. In this one, I'm giving my top 10 JRPGs with incredible art styles. I've wanted to do this one for a really long time, and I've honestly had a hard time choosing the games on this list because I could probably easily do a list of 20 to 30 games, but I'm sticking to 10 today, and maybe I'll do another one down the road, so let me know in the comments below if you would like me to do that. Anyway, art styles in JRPGs are one of the big reasons I play them and part of why I love the genre so much. Many JRPGs stand the test of time because they aren't going for a ultra-realistic approach, and instead, they're trying to do something unique and different that makes them stand out on their own, in their own way. So with all that said, I don't want to waste any more time. I want to jump right into the games. First up on the list, I have Octopath Traveler 2. I can't say enough positive things about this game, but one of my favorite aspects of Octopath is definitely its art style. The environments, the lighting, the colors, everything just pops and it really brings the game to life. This HD 2D art style is absolutely incredible, and the first Octopath started it all, and the sequel just builds on it in really amazing ways. At its core, Octopath Traveler 2 draws heavily on the charm of pixel art, reminiscent of, the 16-bit era of JRPGs that we all know and love. The characters and various environmental elements are meticulously crafted and detailed, expressive pixel sprites. However, unlike traditional 2D games, these characters are placed in this 3D world of sorts that allows for more depth and these perspective shifts, and it's just really creative how they handle the whole landscape and how everything looks. This unique approach really bridges the gap between the past and the present, creating this visual style that feels simultaneously nostalgic and really modern. One of the most remarkable features of Octopath Traveler 2 is its use of dynamic lighting and shadows. Every scene is bathed in this beautifully rendered light. For example, you get these soft glows from the sun over a village, or the flicker of torches in a dark dungeon. The characters and objects, they cast these realistic shadows that interact with the environment, adding a layer of immersion and realism that just sets it apart from traditional pixel art games. These lighting effects also enhance the game's atmosphere, which really takes the whole experience up a notch. The environments in Octopath Traveler 2 are equally incredible. Each location feels handcrafted with incredible detail. The thoughtful variety in settings keeps exploration exciting, as you are constantly introduced to new environments that feel fresh and honestly had me incredibly excited to see what was around the next corner. To me, the art style of Octopath Traveler 2 is much more than a minor bonus to the game, but is absolutely integral part of the game's identity and storytelling. By seamlessly blending traditional pixel art with modern graphical innovations, it creates a timeless aesthetic that really resonates with me. As someone who's played a lot of Super Nintendo JRPGs, this art style really takes me back and helps me reappreciate the games that helped me fall in love with this genre. It serves as a powerful reminder of how the old and new can come together to redefine how we experience and appreciate the art in video games. The art style of Baten Kaitos is incredible, and honestly, one of the reasons I was motivated to try it out. It is a key factor in its appeal, honestly. Developed for the Gamecube by those that made the Xenoblade series, one of my favorite JRPG series of all time. The game's visual design is an incredible blend of pre-rendered backdrops, intricate character models, and a vibrant color palette, creating an experience that feels like stepping into a living painting. The art direction not only defines the game's atmosphere, but also enhances its overall narrative. One of the standout features of Baten Kaitos is its pre-rendered backgrounds. As I mentioned before, each environment is super detailed, ranging from floating islands and a mystical forest to towns and dungeons. These backdrops are not only beautiful, but also highly varied. And this is super important to me because I feel like part of what makes the worlds in JRPGs so appealing is seeing the different environments and towns and how they look and feel. Games like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, and recently Visions of Mana all nail this, and Baten Kaitos is no different. The recent remaster on Switch even takes things up a notch, and everything really pops and looks incredible in HD. It's not just the environments that look great though, the character design in Baten Kaitos is equally amazing. The protagonists and supporting cast feature bold and unique designs that fit seamlessly into the game's eclectic world. The art style emphasizes their individuality with unique costumes and intricate accessories that reflect their personalities and roles in the story. A defining feature of the game's visual style is definitely its use of color and lighting. I mean, Baten Kaitos employs a vibrant and dynamic color palette that I think is super unique and really, really well executed. I'm not an artist personally, but I know that when a game manages to really catch my eye with its colors, that it's doing something really special. Lighting effects are masterfully used to highlight key areas of interest and draw your eye, subtly guiding your exploration. I love when games manage to guide you in subtle ways using the art style or the environment to push you in the right direction. The card-based combat system in Baten Kaitos is also a really unique way to add interesting art direction and also benefits from the game's overall artistic approach. Each card representing an action, spell, or item is adorned with intricate artwork that reflects its function and origin. This adds a layer of visual satisfaction to the gameplay, making every card not only a tool, but honestly a piece of the game's artistry. I mean, these cards are really, really cool looking, and I honestly didn't think I'd be a real big fan of the whole card combat system because I'm not huge into these card games, but I really, really loved the designs of the cards in Baten Kaitos, and it actually made me appreciate the whole combat system that much more. Overall, looking at the art style of Baten Kaitos, it's a masterpiece of creativity, and it really elevates it from a typical JRPG to, honestly, an unforgettable experience. The art style doesn't just complement the gameplay and story, it defines them. This was the aspect of the game that I came away most impressed with, and honestly, it's definitely the reason why it made this list. Next up is another Monolith Soft game, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. To be honest, I actually had a hard time picking between 2 and 3 because I think they're both really incredible, but the way everything comes together in 3 is just so nice. The combat animations, the UI and the menus, the character designs, and the environments are all so incredibly beautiful. I think this might be the best looking game that the Nintendo Switch has to offer, and it does continue to impress me with their ability to push the limits of what this hardware is capable of. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a testament to how art direction can elevate a game into an unforgettable experience. Its visual style blends beautiful landscapes, amazing character design, and attention to detail. It creates this world that is vast and ripe with exploration opportunities. The art direction perfectly complements these themes of exploration as well as survival, and the bonds you forge between the characters, it just all comes together so perfectly. One of the standout aspects of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is its world design. Each region is a carefully constructed environment that feels alive and dynamic. It features fields, forests, mountains. I mean, the sense of scale is absolutely insane, and it invites you to explore every corner. The environments are rich with details, from the movement of the grass, the wind, and the way the sunlight filters through the trees, creating this sense of immersion that makes exploring this world feel like a vital part of the overall narrative. The cinematic presentation of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is another key strength of its art style. The cutscenes are directed with a level of polish that is absolutely impressive. With careful attention given to framing and lighting and movement, these sequences seamlessly integrate with the gameplay, and it just ensures that the story remains super engaging without kind of breaking that immersive experience. The art style of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is not just visually appealing, but also serves to deepen the connection to its narrative and the world. I mean, world building, Monolith Soft is unmatched in this area, and it really manages to create an experience that is visually appealing as it is emotionally resonant. This is a perfect example of how art direction can enhance storytelling in video games, and makes it just one of the most standout JRPGs in that genre and an absolute must-play for anybody that owns a Nintendo Switch. Persona has always had really cool and interesting art styles, but Persona 5 really took things to another level. I mean, this game is dripping with style at every corner, and it's apparent the moment you start the game up. There aren't a lot of games out there that put this much effort into every facet of a game's design. From the menus to the music and everything in between, Persona 5 Royal is an absolute showcase of what a great art style looks like. At the heart of Persona 5 Royal's art style is its striking use of color, with a palette dominated by bold reds, blacks, and whites, I feel like Persona always does this well. 3 had blue, 4 has yellow, 5 with red. I feel like I associate each one with its primary color, and it uses this technique in a lot of really interesting ways. For example, this combination of colors captures the spirit of the Phantom Thieves who are out to steal hearts. The consistent use of these colors across menus, battle sequences, and environments ties the game's visual elements into a cohesive whole, making it even better that it weaves so well into the storytelling. Character design is another area where Persona 5 Royal excels. Each member of the Phantom Thieves boasts a unique and instantly recognizable look, with costumes that reflect their personalities. The dual identities of the characters, ordinary high school students by day and these masked heroes by night, are expressed through dynamic, eye-catching designs that are really appealing and overall just super recognizable. The personas themselves are also designed with super unique detail and creativity. I could go on and on and on with this one, but yeah, the characters are great. I also really like the environments in Persona 5. The split between the dungeons and the real world is really well done, and I think the vastly different designs for each palace is the best variation we've seen in a Persona game yet. And finally, I can't move on from this one without mentioning the incredible anime cutscenes. They are seamlessly integrated into the game. These moments bring key story beats to life with fluid animation and just make sure that the overall narrative hits with more impact. I was always excited when I triggered one and was honestly one of my favorite aspects of the game. This game's art style creates a world that is just so good to look at as it is to play. Next up, I have a more recent game, and that's Visions of Mana. This is one of the most visually impressive games to release this year from an art style standpoint. I was immediately drawn in with its bright colors and incredible combat animations. It really is a special game, and the art style here really elevates it. At the core of Visions of Mana's art direction is its painterly environmental design. Every corner of its world exudes some sort of life, from the forests and the rivers and the landscapes. They all shine here with incredibly bright colors. The environments feel like paintings with rich details and fluid animations that really invite you to stop and just take everything in. Character designs in Visions of Mana balance that classic fantasy look with a fresh, more modern aesthetic. The heroes' appearance reflect their personalities, in my opinion, and roles within the overall story, with subtle details that hint at their backstories and growth throughout the game. Enemies, too, are just really incredibly well illustrated, ranging from these weird creatures to more imposing and intimidating bosses. The use of color in Visions of Mana is the main draw, I think, and what the artists and developers really nailed in this game, emphasizing the game's theme and the art direction in ways a lot of games are unable to achieve. This makes the art an integral part of the game's storytelling. And ultimately, the art style in Visions of Mana is just one of the really key elements in its success as both a standalone title and a continuation of the Mana series as a whole. By blending nostalgic, hand-painted style elements with really, really high-quality visuals and thoughtful design, the game really captures the spirit of the series, and it's an underrated game this year, and I think anyone should play it. Moving on, I have Chrono Trigger. This right here is one of my all-time favorite games and was one of the first JRPGs I played where I truly appreciated the game's art style, the character models, the colors. Everything really blew me away and still does to this day. Sure, it would be cool to get a glow up in the HD 2D art style, but this one holds up so well today that I still go back to it and appreciate it quite often. The character designs are unforgettable, brought to life by Akira Toriyama. His iconic style shines through in every character. Each party member has a distinct look that reflects their personality and story arc. Whether it's Chrono's spiky hair and determined expression or Robo's bulky design, the characters immediately feel like individuals you want to know more about. The environments are just as impressive. Chrono Trigger takes you across various timelines with the prehistoric age, the future, and each setting just feels so unique. The art doesn't just look good, it kind of tells the story and reinforces the themes of time and change and the connection that runs through this game. Even the battles are super appealing. The way characters seamlessly interact with the enemies and the environment during combat just gives the game a sense of fluidity that wasn't common during that time, and it's actually something we see replicated a lot in games today. Games like Sea of Stars, for example, pull a lot of inspiration from this style of art and gameplay, and were really successful in doing so. Chrono Trigger's art style is a testament to the power of great design and creativity. It captures your imagination, tells a story, and really just immerses you in its world in a way that very few games could replicate. Whether you're revisiting the game for nostalgia or playing it for the first time, the visuals remain as fresh and inspiring as the day they debuted. Chrono Trigger isn't just a classic, it's an absolute masterpiece that continues to set the standard for timeless art in video games. Next up is one I think many people probably wouldn't expect to be on this list, and it's Scarlet Nexus. I adore this game, and I think it deserves more attention because it is just one of the coolest action JRPGs out there. The art style mixes this like anime and cyberpunk aesthetic, and the result is something just really awesome. One of the standout aspects of the game's art style is its character design. Each member of the cast has really unique designed gear that is inspired by like the cyberpunk aesthetic that I mentioned earlier, and I really like it. Personally, it just appeals to me. The enemy designs, known as others in the game, are where Scarlet Nexus truly showcases its creativity though. These honestly grotesque creatures combine organic and mechanical elements in ways that are both really unsettling and interesting. Imagine flowers blooming from a mannequin's torso or legs replaced by steel springs. Each enemy is a bizarre work of art that will keep you wondering what the next encounter will look like. Scarlet Nexus places you in this sprawling, futuristic city, otherworldly landscapes, among other unexpected dungeon-like environments. The urban areas are detailed and filled with neon lights, skyscrapers, and streets that actually feel alive. In contrast, the alternate dimensions you visit are strange and haunting, filled with abstract geometry and twisted perspectives. The wide variety of places you find yourself in is one of the aspects that kept me going throughout the game. Like, what am I going to see next? The animation also deserves praise. The game will have you unleashing these like psychokinetic abilities and engaging in more melee-focused combat, but no matter what, the fluid motion and attention to detail make every action feel impactful. Tossing a card, an enemy, or linking up for a combo attack is not only satisfying in gameplay terms, but also insane from a visual standpoint. Scarlet Nexus is a great action JRPG, and one that I mention often in my lists. I know we all have that game that didn't review super well or get the crazy amount of attention that some of the others do. Scarlet Nexus is that game for me. It takes risks with its art direction and creates a unique identity that stands out in a more crowded JRPG landscape. Definitely give this one a try if you haven't yet. Studio Ghibli films are some of my favorites, and they always look amazing. I never knew I'd want to play a video game version of one, but No Kuni is exactly that, and since the art style of their films is super unique and identifiable, I couldn't have a list of JRPGs with amazing art styles and not have No Kuni on it. Studio Ghibli is known for their hand-drawn animation and richly detailed worlds. The aesthetic brings a timeless quality to the game. Characters are designed with expressive features and fluid animations that echo the studio's beloved films. Similar to a couple of my personal favorites, Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle, the environments from the green fields of the overworld to the cozy towns and other really creative environments are just brimming with color and detail, giving each area a distinct personality and life of its own. Another remarkable aspect of the art style is its seamless blend of 2D animation and 3D modeling. The game utilizes cel shading techniques to give its 3D models the appearance of a more hand-drawn animation. This approach maintains the traditional look of a Studio Ghibli film during gameplay. The result is a visual style that feels both nostalgic and innovative. The world design in No Kuni is equally amazing, with a focus on crafting an atmosphere that feels really original. From castles to forests and seaside towns, every location feels like it belongs in a storybook. The colors and intricate details in these environments create a sense of wonder, encouraging exploration and making every new area a joy to discover. Ultimately, the art style of No Kuni Wrath of the White Witch is a cornerstone of its appeal. It's actually what originally got me to pick the game up. And by blending Studio Ghibli's iconic animation style with modern gaming mechanics, the game achieves a level of artistry that is both timeless and innovative. This is one of my favorite JRPGs and one I always enjoy replaying when I have the chance to. Next up, I have Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. Now, I absolutely adore the HD 2D art style. That's why Octopath Traveler 2 was on this list, and I think this is easily my favorite implementation of it. This game looks absolutely stunning. Each iteration of this art style seems to look better and better, and this remake is no exception. At the heart of the HD 2D art style is its unique fusion of retro pixel art and modern 3D rendering, lovingly recreated with intricate detail and really great animations. These sprites are set against this dynamic 3D background that features realistic lighting, shadows, and other creative atmospheric effects. I mean, I really love the way light shines on the water and shadows from glowing torches on the characters. The interplay between flat pixelated characters and some of the crazy richly textured environments creates this really interesting contrast that feels really fresh. I mean, you think when looking at it, something like this wouldn't really work because you've got the characters and the environments looking completely different from each other, but it works so well together, and I just love how this art style is done here. I mean, its ability to evoke a sense of depth and scale is really unique, and the use of perspective and 3D camera angles brings a new level of immersion to the more classic top-down view. Towns, dungeons, and overworld landscapes feel expansive and alive, drawing you into the world in a way that the original hardware probably really intended. The HD 2D art style is also such an amazing fit for the Dragon Quest series. It really highlights the vibrant and colorful world that the series is known for. From the green grass of the overworld to the more cozy interiors of the inns and shops, every setting is rendered with a painterly touch that enhances the charm of the series. This visual fidelity allows longtime fans to experience the game in a whole new light while staying true to the aesthetic that made the original so memorable. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake is a perfect blend of old and new, offering a visually stunning tribute to a timeless classic, not only in art style, but in game mechanics as well. I love this game, and I recently put a review up, so be sure to check that out if you haven't yet. Finally, last but not least, is Unicorn Overlord. This game is all around one of the best tactics games I have ever played in my life, and honestly, I think it should have been nominated for Game of the Year. It's that good. Vanillaware has a particular look and feel to their games that stands out, and what they've done with Unicorn Overlord is really special. Unicorn Overlord draws heavily from hand-drawn 2D artistry, which has long been a hallmark of their games. The character designs are richly detailed, the armor, the fabrics, and the character models all look absolutely stunning. These designs are rooted in these high fantasy traditions, and the whole art design reminds me of the more old school tabletop RPGs. It's really cool how they approach this, and I think it worked out really well in the end. The environments in Unicorn Overlord are equally incredible. Each battlefield, town, and overworld map is rendered with a kind of painterly art style that I really, really like. The attention to detail in these environments creates a world that feels really immersive, even if it's not meant to be more realistic in look and feel. I really also love Unicorn Overlord's use of color. The palette is varied, keeping the game from looking muted. The careful use of color enhances the game's atmosphere and enhancing the game's important moments. I just love the way it's all handled from start to finish and how the game builds on its art style over time as you progress through the game. Something else to mention is how the art style integrates seamlessly with the tactical format. Character sprites and units on the battlefield are well animated, giving life to the strategic encounters. Meanwhile, the menus and UI design maintain a clean, polished look that complements the intricate art without overwhelming it. This is super important as you will be spending a ton of time in the menus in this one. This presentation ensures that the game is not only stunning to look at, but also easy to navigate and engage with. I really enjoyed everything about Unicorn Overlord, so if you haven't had a chance to play this one yet, then definitely be sure to do so. Anyway, that's it for me on this one. That's my top 10 list of JRPGs with incredible art styles. This right here is one of the reasons I love the genre so much, so I could probably do another list or two of games with art styles I really love, so be sure to stick around and subscribe if you want to see that in the future. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what your favorite art styles and games are. What draws you in? Is it the more anime aesthetic? Do you prefer something a bit more unique? I look forward to reading what you all think. Until next time, I'm out.